Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Today we're going to answer a question from Kathy in Georgetown, Delaware. Kathy wrote in and she said, basically, what is a loss of consortium claim? Can you define it? And essentially, here's how I would define a loss of consortium claim. What I would say is that if you're married, legally married, and you're in an automobile accident or you have a slip and fall and you're injured or you're killed, your spouse has a right to make a legal claim or file a lawsuit. And your spouse is not suing for your injuries, your spouse is suing for the impact that your injuries or your death had on the marriage relationship. So we see loss of consortium claims quite frequently in our personal injury cases. I'll sort of give you like the typical loss of consortium claim that we deal with. In a typical case, perhaps we have a man who is injured in a car accident. A drunk driver ran through a red light and smashed into him. And unfortunately, in the accident, the man injured his left shoulder, tore his rotator cuff, had surgery to repair the damage. This is a very painful surgery in a lot of cases, and his arm is in a sling. He's left-handed, and so he can't write checks. So every week, he would typically sit down and pay the bills by sitting down at the kitchen table and writing the checks. Now he can't do it, so his wife has to now sit with him and do all the checks for him and do his correspondence, pay the bills. And so that's a task that she has to do now because of his injuries, but she never had to do that before. That was always his role. That was always his task. He goes out to mow his grass, and he lives in a house on 1/8 of an acre, and he gets the mower out of the garage and he thinks, well, I got my left arm in a sling, but I'll just push the mower with my right hand. And so he mows the grass with his right hand. It's great, except that he's bagging up the clippings, and now the bag is full. He needs to empty the clippings. You can't do that one-handed, so he has to go in and get his wife. His wife has to come out, and she's the one who's now going to be emptying the bag on the lawnmower. She says it doesn't really make a lot of sense for you to be out here mowing the grass one-handed. It's taking you 5 times as long. Just go in the house and relax. I'll finish mowing the grass. So now she's doing the yard work that she never had to do before because he was injured because that drunk driver ran the light and smashed into him. So these are some typical ways that an auto accident with injuries to one spouse will impact the relationship with the other spouse. Here's a third example. That gentleman who was injured in the accident had the shoulder injury, had the shoulder surgery. Typically, he has a pretty sunny disposition. Typically, he's pretty happy, gets along with everyone, but now he's in pain all the time. You know, he's been in pain. He's gone through physical therapy. Every day he comes home from physical therapy, the shoulder's throbbing worse. He goes to the doctor does the surgery. It's a painful surgery. He comes home, he's recovering. He's in a lot of pain. He snaps at everyone. He's angry all the time because he's in so much pain. So during this time period, while he's recovering from the injury and getting better, he's got a short temper, and everyone around him has to deal with that and has to be more understanding and has to tiptoe around him. Everyone's walking on eggshells because the guy's in pain and he's got a short temper. And his wife especially is impacted by that. She has to live with him. And so that is something that is an effect on the marriage relationship. She should be compensated for having to deal with that. She should be compensated for the impact that this accident has had on her, the spouse, even though she wasn't in the car and she didn't get injured. That is a loss of consortium claim. That's our typical loss of consortium claim. We see it all the time, very often in personal injury cases, auto accident cases, slip and fall cases, dog bite cases, etc. And so I hope that answers the question. I hope you now know everything that you will ever need to know. Hopefully you never need to know anything, but hopefully now you know everything you will ever need to know about loss of consortium claims. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. If you have a question for me that relates to the law, the practice of personal injury law in particular, send me an email. My email address is ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com. Thanks for watching.